Hello everyone, welcome back to PharmCon tutorial. In today's lecture, we will discuss about the hormones regulating plasma calcium level. So let's get started. Calcium metabolism is mainly regulated by three hormones, that is the parrot hormone, vitamin D and calcitonin. Now let us discuss this one by one. First let us see about the parrot hormone or the parathyroid hormone. This parathyroid hormone or the PTH, it is 84 amino acid polypeptide hormone which is synthesized by the chief cells of parathyroid glands. Now how it is regulated? This PTH secretion is mainly regulated by the plasma calcium level. So whenever there is a hypocalcemia or low level of plasma calcium, it will stimulate the PTH release. And whenever there is a high plasma calcium level, it will inhibit the PTH release. Now discussing the functions of the PTH, it has variety of functions chiefly on bone, GIT and kidney. On bone, it will cause increased bone resorption, and if supplemented low intermittent dose, it can cause or stimulate the bone formation. And in GIT, indirectly it will help with the help of this vitamin D, it causes the increased absorption of calcium. And lastly, in the kidney, it will cause increased calcium reabsorption and decreased phosphate reabsorption. There are two types of abnormalities with the PTH. Either it is secreted less, that is the hypoparathyroidism, or secreted in excess leading to hyperparathyroidism. This hypoparathyroidism is caused by genetic factors, autoimmune reactions or by idiopathic causes. Now on the mode of this onset, it can be divided into two, that is the acute and the chronic. Acute patients will present with hypocalcium, that is decreased level of calcium, tetany, severe cramps of muscles, feet and hands, and it will make the patient temporarily difficult to speak, and there will be tangling of the lips, hands, and also can causes convulsion. And here in this acute hypoparathyroidism, the treatment is medical emergency, and it is given with the 10% IV calcium gluconate, and oral calcium salts should be started as soon as possible. Now in chronic hypoparathyroid patients, they will present with a loss of hair, brittle fingernails, caries of teeth, cataract, anxiety and depression. And the treatment of this chronic patients would be with the administration of ergocalciferol, that is the vitamin D2, and with oral calcium salts. Now about the hyperparathyroidism. This hyperparathyroidism is mainly caused by the parathyroid tumor and also occur due to the kidney failure. The symptoms will be hypercalcinemia, then hypercalcinuria and osteoporosis. The best treatment is surgical removal of the parathyroid gland and also a drug called the cinacalcet, that is a calcimimetic agent. So as we know that the increased calcium level will inhibit the parathyroid hormone secretion. So this drug will actually act on the PT gland receptors and will decrease the parathyroid hormone secretion. Now let us discuss about the second hormone which regulates the calcium metabolism, that is vitamin D. This vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin obtained from dairy products, fish liver oil, and also they are synthesized in the skin on exposure to sunlight. This vitamin D is a prohormone, that is it is needed to be converted into its active metabolite to perform various functions. And again the sources of vitamin D include the diet, and also it can be converted from the 7-dehydrocholesterol in the skin, and also they are in the preformed or in the stored form in the liver. The vitamin D obtained from diet is called the ergocalciferol, that is the vitamin D2, and that from the skin is the by the action of UV light on 7-dehydrocholesterol is the vitamin D3, that is the cholecalciferol. Now these two forms, that is the vitamin D2 and the vitamin D3 form, that is the ergocalciferol and the cholecalciferol, they are in the inactive forms. So Now they need hydroxylation, or they need to get activated, they require hydroxylation. So D2 and D3 requires two hydroxylation, one from liver and from kidney also. The first hydroxylation takes place in the liver, that is at 25 carbon, and is known as 25 hydroxylation. This ergocalciferol will be converted to 25 hydroxy-ergocalciferol, and cholecalciferol will be converted to 25 hydroxy cholecalciferol, or they are also known as the calcifediol. Now the vitamin D, which is present as preformed and the stored form in the liver, is the 1-alpha hydroxy cholecalciferol, or they are otherwise called as the alpha calciferol. This alpha calciferol requires only one hydroxylation to form its to be converted into its active form, and this hydroxylation it is taking place in the liver. Now about the other two, that is the 25 hydroxy ergocalciferol and the 25 hydroxy cholecalciferol, needs another hydroxylation that is mainly taking place in the kidney by the 1-alpha hydroxylase, and it is converted into 1-alpha 25 dihydroxy ergocalciferol and 1-alpha 25 dihydroxy cholecalciferol. Moving on to the actions of vitamin D. In the GIT, it will promote the absorption of calcium and phosphate from gut. In kidney, it promotes the reabsorption of the calcium and phosphate in the renal tubules. And in bone, it has two actions, that is, one in the presence of PTH, that is, it causes demineralization at a higher concentration, and when it is present in low concentration, it will repent on its ends and causes bone mineralization. Now discussing the two aspects, that is the increased vitamin D and decreased vitamin D level in the body. Decreased vitamin D causes rickettsia in children and osteomalacia in adult, while increased vitamin D, also called as hypervitaminosis, can occur since this vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin. Increased vitamin D will cause hypercalcemia, and its symptoms are nausea, weakness, fatigue, polyuria and kidney stone, as there will be calcium deposition. Now to control this, we can stop the vitamin D supplement and provide low calcium diet, and also hydrate the patient by IV. Now the drugs preferred here are bisphosphonate, then mitromycin, then glucocorticoids and furosemide, which is a loop diuretic. Now about the preparations of the vitamin D. These preparations include ergocalciferol, that is the vitamin D2, which is an oral capsule given for the prevention of rickets and osteomalacia. And the second type is the cholecalciferol, that is the vitamin D3, which is again administered orally and as well as in the IM injection. And the third type is the calcitriol, which is an oral capsule, and solutions are also available. And the other type is the alpha calcidol and the calcipotriol. This alpha calcidol, it is a prodrug, orally effective, and are rapidly biotransformed into calcitriol in the liver. And the calcipotriol, it is a vitamin D analog used topically in the psoriasis. Now moving on to the third hormone, that is the calcitonin. This calcitonin is a peptide hormone secreted by the parafollicular C cells of the thyroid glands, and the basic function of this hormone is to decrease the serum calcium level and phosphate level, and this is mainly attained by the direct action on bone as well as kidney. In bone, it inhibits the osteoclastic activity and inhibits the bone resorption, while in the kidney, it inhibits the reabsorption of calcium and phosphate in the renal tubules. The property of this calcitonin to decrease the serum calcium and phosphate level can be used in hypercalcemic states that are associated with the neoplasia like multiple myeloma or leukemia. It can also be used in the Paget's disease. This Paget's disease is actually a disorder of bone remodeling process. That is, the body will absorb old bones normally, but there will be abnormal deposition of the bone, that is new bone, leading to weakness, deformities, large skull, etc. So that is the condition, that is Paget's disease. And the drug of choice is bisphosphonate. Now again, this calcitonin, it can be also used in the postmenopausal osteoporosis as well as corticosteroid induced osteoporosis. Now talking about the calcitonin preparations, mainly these calcitonin preparations include porcine calcitonin, which is antigenic and can lead to production of antibody. They are naturally occurring. And the second type is the synthetic salmon calcitonin, and these synthetic salmon calcitonin is mainly available as a nasal spray, and the final one is the synthetic human calcitonin. And this synthetic human calcitonins are also available, which is in the injection, which is given through injection, that is the subcutaneous or the IM route.